Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I am continuing to review the Halloween films. Now, Resurrection has a really bad reputation. Now, I will defend it. I actually enjoyed it the first time I saw it in the cinema. I still enjoy it once you separate the stories, because the first 15 minutes is ending off the Jamie Lee Curtis saga, the Laurie sort of saga, and killing her off, which I didn't really like. I loved Halloween H2O. I thought Michael was dead, like everyone else who saw the film. And then we find out that he isn't, and it kind of meant nothing. And then they had Laurie basically sort of be destroyed, but then killed, but then sort of glad to sort of be free. It was a lot of mixed feelings and strangeness. And then after that ends, you cut to a whole other film, which actually was written as its own film and was adapted to be a Halloween film from my understanding. But it really worked. I thought it really worked. If you actually just skip straight to the credits, the title, and then watch it from then on, it's only an hour and 10 minutes, but it's a good Halloween film, and it's a good film on its own. Basically, there's a group of people who are going into the Michael Myers house on Halloween to do like a reality TV special, because they don't happen to know that Michael has returned and is living out of the house, basically. So there's all these people trapped in a house with cameras being stalked by Michael, and there's a boy who was sort of chatting with one of the girls online, and he's watching this live, and he gets in contact with her and is trying to help her escape Michael. And some of these scenes where you see this group of people that have slowly gathered over the course of the film watching what they thought was a joke and a hoax and just a TV special, just totally invested in this person. And it's like all the stories I've heard of people who have interactive experiences with the Halloween films, where they're sort of yelling at the screen and saying, don't go in there, because they care about the character and they don't want anything to happen to them, and they're anxious, and they sort of have to have that release. And it kind of plays like that. It's like now that whole audience is getting involved in that because it's actual real life and really happening. And I loved those scenes. I thought that was just so... I just thought it worked, and it was brilliant. And it was upsetting when they just suddenly sort of switched off that, and then it just went back to... I can't remember the name of the final girl in this film. I've totally forgotten. Her and Busta Rhymes basically fighting Michael for the last scene or so. But there was... Overall, the film I felt worked, and then you got to that point, and it was just really killing it. Then it ended a bit soft, and they filmed about 4 endings, and they had the idea, and I've heard this before, the idea of, let's just have 3 or 4 different endings to a film and put them all in different cinemas, and no one will know what they're going to get. And they're all pretty weak, but I mean, what more could you do with Michael? It's like the bloodline stories had sort of run out, and the other option was to, well, by ending that, you got to have him go back to just being the Shape, this trickster that, hunts babysitters, or people, filming a reality TV special in his house. But I thought it worked as its own film. Once you sort of forget about, like, with my marathons, I do the first film, usually up to 7, 8. I sort of can do the whole lot. I feel that you can watch them all in one go. But sometimes I just do 1, 2, H2O, and then I do 4, 5, 6, and then I do the new trilogy. And sometimes I watch H2O, and then I go into Resurrection. But what I sort of realised is, if you skip the ending with part 8, you can just watch it after 6, and it just plays like another in that another film, and that another entry in that Michael timeline. So I kind of find it interesting. Like, I think it does work as its own film once you get past continuing, ending, resolving the Laurie Strode sort of story. And it's one of Katie Sackhoff's first films, which she's barely recognisable. The Halloween films have done a good job of launching stars like Jamie Lee Curtis and Josh Hartnett. And I just think it gets a lot of crap it doesn't really deserve it. And there's a lot of racism too, particularly around Busta Rhymes. Every review I saw, pretty much from all these white guys, the thing they complained about the most was Busta Rhymes in the film. I think he's great in the film. I mean, when you do have a actor who can act and is doing interesting scenes and is funny and dramatic and dynamic and interesting, but everyone hates it, you have to wonder why. So yeah, so that's probably the worst legacy of it, is that it's really brought out the racism in some people, because that's the only thing they criticise about the film, or the reason that they say it's bad is just Busta Rhymes. And yeah, you know what that's about. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Now I've started watching it without the Jamie Lee Curtis section at the start. I do enjoy it more now, and it's going to be more regular, because sometimes I wouldn't watch the whole film. I didn't include it because of issues like that. But yeah.